Fantastic.
That's pretty.
I'm so grateful that you're here tonight to celebrate our 30th birthday and BrickBook's 50th anniversary. And it is my pleasure to introduce our featured poets. Jane Shi lives on the occupied and stolen territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. She is the author of the chapbook Leaving Chang'e on Read by Rahila's Ghost Press, and Jane's debut poetry collection, Echolalia, was shortlisted for the Raymond Souster Award already.
It hasn't even come out yet. It's coming out like next year.
Amazing. Please welcome Jane Shi. Sorry?
Actually, go ahead.
Oh, you're going to go backwards and forwards. Oh, okay, sure. I'll introduce Hari now. It's now my pleasure to introduce Hari Alluri. Hari is the author of Tabako on the Windowsill, The Flayed City, and the chapbook Our Echo of Sudden Mercy, an award-winning poet, editor, and facilitator who collaborates locally and internationally. Hari's work appears widely in anthologies, journals, and online venues. And apparently they have something special planned for us.
We do.
This is exciting. Okay, the stage is yours.
Thanks so much for having me. How to let someone in. I am a mildew flower. I am a smoking porch. I am a mushroom failing to forget. I am a Kingdom Hearts OST you play in the background. I am a battery inside a calculator waiting to run out. I am a soundproof wall. I am 3-week stand with nighttime. I am oranges and bamboo plants and succulents. I am a sink falling apart. I am a corner where you shiver so hotly. I am a jam jar on the sex toy shelf. I am a drill against delicate knuckles. I am finger tapping blades of grass. I am egg tart flakes. I am a whimper. I am a sharp edge. I am not a weekly check-in. I am not enough light for the monstera plant. I am not half-baked apologies. I am not a teddy bear. I am not vitamins for going vegan. I am not a contract for sealing popcorn. I am not a contest anyone can win. I am not a rug. I am not a stove struggling for breath. I am not the right condition to choose. I am not a bridge of magnolias. I am magnolias. I am totally one-sided. I am desperate approximations of uvula. I am a toilet plunger. I am flush. I am deteriorating paints. I am throat full of dust. I am plastic wrap over a TV dinner. I am unforgiving drafts. I am so impossible the city would collapse. I am pencil splinters staying in skin. I am a bouquet of tissues. I am blackberry gumdrop. I am your love me anyway. I am your come on in. I am your stay a little while longer. It's still early. I am your dewdrop drown. I am how. I am how. Thanks so much for having us. Congrats to BrickBook for 50 years of poetry. I'm so honored to have my debut poetry collection with them. It was such a joy. My editor, Phoebe Wang, was so supportive. I just feel very held by poetry and am really grateful to be surrounded by fellow poets. And kind of thinking about what it means to be a poet in our times and what responsibilities we have, and thinking about the ways that poets are a threat to the way that things are right now and a threat to power. My next poem is called Incense Search Engine. #Ask your ancestors anything. How do you say help me in your language? How much ginseng do you take each morning? How do you say fed up in your language? What's your favorite tea? How do you say no more in your language? Did you like these dumplings I made you? What color is precious in your language? How much baijiu do I pour you? Can you hear the cicadas in your language? Do you like this painting I made? What storms do I part in your language? What do you think of corn? Oh. What of you am I holding in your language? How do you fold your dumplings, though? What do I let go of in your language? And what about this pomegranate? What will it take in your language? How do you do your hair? What would disappoint your language? How do you like your spices? How do you stay in your language? I really like donut peaches. Do I keep searching in your language? Do you like them too? How would you pronounce my name?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for hosting us. So good to be reading with you, Jane. I'm going to open with a poem from a book I just got. Enemy of the Sun, Poetry of Palestinian Resistance, edited by Nasir Alluri. It hasn't come out yet, so I'm very lucky. I'm going to open from that, and then I'm going to read something that responds to what Jane just read. And then I'm going to read, if you don't mind, back to you a few of the pieces of language that you shared with us at the open mic. That'll be kind of like a little way in. This poem, The House, is by Ilya Abu Chadid. Of course, as soon as I told you I was going to read it, I lost the poem. The house. The house. The house, like those who were here, the house whispers about guidance. There is no one. They closed the windows and fled. They took a whole life with them, and what remains is the shadow, voice on the walls of distance. The door remains, and so does the shattered echo, and their footsteps that we used to hear next to the door declare. From here, they've disappeared, and yet they remained, and they disappeared like a rose, ripped from the heart of the earth, and yet its fragrant scent fills the air, like someone talked about the scent in the threshold, and yet its fragrant scent fills the air, descending, and a sound like silence is heard, descending on the stairs, like a wailing wound, and tears falling on the tiles. And that's 1967. I hope you don't mind, I've broken up your language a little bit. Shadows. Take solace in lizards. Flesh incandescent. Stones, moon, waxing gibbous, being lured for food. What is more sacred? Stop. A tiny form hobbles, two questions in the center. The sky is so bright, vanishing sound of 1,000 wings to tear the winter down. How I wish we could get back on that swing. When I ask whose hunger this is, I have tried to outrun, hunting moths I cannot see, scent on the threshold. Softness again. It's almost time to write. The zipper on my hairline. Anytime. Praises of back roads. Bad coffee is available. between the broken, open world, familiar with shards. That's you, you're clapping for yourselves. Congratulations on clapping for yourselves. May you feel easy in your skin. May the language of ancestors tattoo the ground you walk on. Back from all the places where their failings gather as a congregation of mercies. And now I'm going to read Windowsill for Anagolai. Windowsill offering to Anagolai, goddess of lost things. I guess if the small intro I'll say is, I come from a people who have a deity of lost things, you know, and it's really annoying that she becomes more and more relevant. I'm going to take this off just so I can back up a little bit. Windowsill offering to Anagolai, goddess of lost things. I'm sorry, Paul. I've been frantic searching, invoking you as I open the freezer, praying closer to first resort. Even before, but especially since Mahal called me over from its escaping frost, pointed to my missing phone, already cold to touch. I keep on mistaking things that I misplace for actual loss. My keys, my ciggy pack. I often joke that lighters, like socks, should be considered among the class of interdimensional beings. The way a pocket, checked 3 times and empty. When I shuck its jacket on, a weather cycle later, dig my hand in for the pen I just put into it, will press the lighter's body back to my palm. Especially since Apo shared how my mother's people carry you, Anagolai Po, as both creator and as the familiar who waits behind a tombstone. I need a smaller God for my forgetfulness. On smaller days, a gift. I used to call every clothing dryer your altar. The clean and fluffy, warm. This is really serious. I don't know why. I used to call every clothing dryer your altar. The clean and fluffy, warm-touched single socks your pasalubong. I had a St. Anthony pendant for a while. No doubt you've had to hide behind his name, but lost it too. You just have so much work to do, deity of lost things. The lives at your crossroads, the parts of land along with them, even if only the few I've loved. Maybe if I, in danger of withering your powers with this act, invented a deity of misplaced objects and forgetfulness, no direct relationship, despite the life of lighters, to those dimensional portals where you dwell. My favorite Bulusan short story is An Origin of Tabako, volcano god and all. He made it up, and I know that where I am is where it's from. The medicine isn't mine. What I can tell you is which corner stores sell my brand cheaper when I buy the packs and pairs. That story, I read it in an airport and haven't seen the mountains of my mother's island since, so it's a little bit like my home. The thing that makes my offering of Yossi leaf worth anything at all, because I want to keep it for myself. So, because I feel somehow about calling out your name for my missing lighter and for a missing beloved, someone's a few breaths apart, I'm inventing that other deity. And because when it's government behind the disappearances, whoever knows too much will be who's taken next, and those who remain wherever here might be for them must make a semblance out of the partialities we have left. Of course, when I say Lola, I see wrinkled fingers. My Lola's one good ring. Say marriage, and there's a leather jacket, 70s lapels in blue, left behind on a bus after an attempt to make up, and me walking home in rain. And today, one of those old blue tins for cigarettes, with burnt out marks that refuse to wash completely off, but just the rectangular outline shape of it, faded into the pocket of my jeans. Here's somebody else's keys whose teeth haven't bit into a lock in years. And here, my tiny, oversized lamentations when I'm already running late and step back through the apartment door yet another time, calling out that made-up deity's name, while the reason you can find anything, dear Anagolai, is simply because everything is tethered to your essence. I'm worried at your diminishment, and you are out there and here, shaking your head as if to say, the smallest lost in all the world is worthy of my name.
Latewood. Losing thumbtacks, like losing stanzas, like losing roof tiles, like losing fish scales, like losing pebbles, like losing Latewood, and even losing her, the moon, so pumpkin pie, as if you couldn't say goodbye to earlier drafts of yourself each night you refused, hugging curtains of dayspring with purpled fingers, ready to waylay her as she sprang through the door, not her you lost, but time. Not a poem lost, but the times you spent, like gorge-sized pouches of loose change stretching memory wide, not a water bottle gone, but another, hurling away a milk jug existence at the end of an assembly line, and a barrel, and a bucket, and a bicycle yelling not innocence flushed away, but an umbrella that has decided, how dare she, to replace you with the trunk of a tree that has long stopped sobbing, as though dry metallic branches could ever be an arm, lullaby enough to not let her slip away. Like clouds of their sweetheart rain, like there is no difference between the first drop or last. You couldn't hold on. You couldn't hold on to water things until the bottom of your barrel is empty, the coffee burning your feet, lost things in a forgotten pocket, humble with the rings and shadows of still and dewy others. I wish I knew all the deities, but I don't. But I'm sure there is also the equivalent of a lost thing, goddess or god somewhere. Yeah, I always love learning new things about what has been lost over time through colonization and modernity, and every time I learn something new, I'm just like, oh, I feel like I'm in grade school, and it's just very humbling. This poem is called Oven Hot Sweet Potato, and I wrote this in 2020 after, just before the pandemic began, when I was in the Wet'suwet'en blockades with other people, thinking about like the world that we wanted to create within the blockades against the world that is constantly happening to us. Oven hot sweet potato. The moon was pregnant. Blushing pink pearl shifting bottles gathered frolic, not anxious. Blushes from knowing sieves of our smiles. Mouths are bowls, our feasts are watching it all happen. Bowls can talk back, hold the broken water, turn into a hand, a needle, a magic spell to sew the river back together. I have seen the soldiers before they come. They wear different uniforms. They run with machine gun signs. We protest life. We hate our own breath. We hate our mother. Faces trained not to twitch when we ask them to join us. Cheekily, I say, I hope your children abandon you. We will. The moon is a huge flirt. I text her on Lex. Tell her I'm here. Say, why can't I go to the water? She teases me. Tells me to wait until I'm ready. Don't worry, you'll know. Charcoal smolders. The water is an archive of dreams. Is a Sistina oracle. Is a together line break. Is the children of our children of our children.
I rub my eyes at the wake-up song, reach across my journal to quell the alarm, and now my phone is in my hand and my dreams begin to fade. The online world floods in and I'm not ready and I keep scrolling. The easiest days begin when I've cleaned the stovetop espresso maker the night before. Most mornings the coffee grounds decorate the counter, spill, bother my bare feet. And not just mine. When I take too long to get up to my first smoke, I'm grumpy before I do. In another version of the story, my notebooks on the stove, the only things that burn. You never know when the fire will ask you to be its home. This is a braided ghazal that I co-wrote with a brother in poetry, Faisal. And he's going through some shit. So if you feel like sending him a little bit of good energy, I'd love that. Braided ghazal, rest. Because a temple is only shelter, a body hungry to house another god, we yearn for pilfered offerings, for more than a feeble breath of rest. Am I wrong to say that every small offering is also a kind of theft? Or is it loss? Because wounds live within wonder, neither is a form of rest. As children, we didn't know the ways we wounded the mountains. Still cannot safely read beneath each other's skin. Our Himalayas cannot yet rest. A mountain is a temple raised up by the earth. Its clouds, oceans, mocking the low-lying land, saying, you've climbed only so far, afraid to face the rest. Night is touched by the torch of a coming day, a revelation asking if monsters in us are just a growling need, or a suffering, wishing for rest. When I say worship, you call me a beast. I trumpet breath. It knows every prayer is a plea to forge more space for acceptance, for a purer rest. To enter any room is to become an offering. Perhaps there's no such rest on earth as an empty room. A song crosses an ocean, seeks a place to rest. Because a body's sanctuary ends too soon, listening must be our temple, abundant with the shadow of, I'm sorry, in peace, mere bhai, chal, rest. Do you want to go right now?
I'm going to do a very fun thing, which involves audience participation. And I have given you like a handout, a sheet of one of my poems. And I will put up my, there's like two sides. And the idea is like, you read one and then like pause for however long and then you read the other and then you like look at what my hand, like which number my hand is holding up. And if it doesn't make sense, just like read at a random time. Yeah, and if you're like not comfortable reading, that's okay. You can pass it to a neighbor as well. Yeah, the one that I've handed out is the one that is like the larger piece of paper, and the other one is Harvey. So yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start reading, and then I'm going to hold up my hand, and then you're going to start reading. And it can just be at random times if you're like confused at my hand gestures too. Okay. Yeah. This poem is called Notes App Apology, and it's after Dennis Smith. And the poem that I'm getting everyone to read, I'll just talk a little bit about it. It's called, oh my gosh, I don't have like the titles of my poems like memorized. Yeah, it's called 100 Punchlines to Procrastinate Kicking Your Bucket. Yeah, so, okay, no sap apology. Dare me. Every time you try to apologize and acknowledge the things you did when you were hurt, you burst into tears and stop yourself from doing it. Why? You ask your best friend, like an angry fly buzzing through the phone. He tells you we are simultaneously all the ages we once were inside and not just our adult bodies. To apologize for this is also to apologize to the kid you punched when you were 7, and to apologize to your elementary school bully, even though that was a hecked up thing she did with a group of other kids in the fishbowl. They tore up your internal net speak like they would at every misspoken if you hadn't torpedoed your mouth through G-force and relativity. Each intentional misspelling, a hazard against catapult, piled on top of you on Zanga, told you to go back to Hong Kong even though you are not from Hong Kong, but some of their parents were. Who taught them this lash-out grief? Who taught you? Everyone's heard a dialect or two of that one. To get back to the apology, though, it isn't fair to ask anyone else to reparent you if they know adult you and had nothing to do with what happened to you when you were 11. People were responsible, though. Ask the grandmothers. You thought North American Protestantism was like Taoism, and that was the only mistake you made. An apology can't carry an elephant or a hippocampus. We aren't born to stay clean. This fresh apricots, then. Little Jane, you can delete this if you want. No one needs to forgive you. Thank you so much for participating. I'm going to ask you to do the same for the second poem. And to clarify my instruction, keep reading, don't stop, read the thing like more than once. Yeah, and just like have all of the voices happen all at once. Yeah, that is the idea. Okay, so the next poem I'm going to read is the last poem I'm going to read, and you're going to end on like the poem, the piece in your hand. The last poem I'm going to read is called "Before You Were Born," and it was written. In a workshop with Diana Coy Nguyen, the author of Ghost of and Root Fractures, and it's based on a photograph of my maternal side of my family and my mother, and yeah, and I was also thinking about photographs when reading Harry's book, so yes, yes, okay. Figure 1, they offered you. Figure 2, cartridge of lies. Who holds up this portrait? And with what spoons do we lift the cranes? toothpick graves poking from moss, mosquito tent, scaffoldings. He wasn't there for her when she fell. She wanted to protect me from the absence of the fishing village, the cold air of the face of history, secrete stares, blankly, moment to moment, and you kept looking, you refused to look, baffling ascent of the camera flash, cartridge of lies. What would you say to me if you knew me then? If you could open the water of your eyes and choose me as I am? If you could tell me why? What stories did you want to protect me from? A world that no longer exists. Time made everything disappear. You worried you would lose me. I look at your face now, a blur. Who holds up this portrait? And with what spoons do we lift? The cranes, toothpick graves, poking from moss, mosquito tent scaffoldings. He wasn't there for her when she fell. He wanted to protect me from the absence of the fishing village, the cold air of. What would you say to me if you knew me then? If you could open the water of your eyes and choose me as I am? If you could tell me why, what stories did you want to protect me from? A world that no longer exists. Time made everything disappear. You worried you would lose me. I look at your face now, a blur. The face, oh, history, secretes, stares blankly, moments to moments, and you kept looking. You refused to look. Affling a scent of camouflage, cartridge of light. Thanks, everyone.
That was wild. Actually, if you feel like it, this is like 1995 hip hop facilitation, but turn to a person nearby you and high five them and be like, that was tight. Or that was ridiculously loose. That was out of control. Just what you can do. Are folks up for reading out loud again? Not right away. I'm gonna like warm you up a little bit. But if you are, yeah, that one. That one I'm just gonna, after I read this little poem, I'll invite you, if you want to just read it out loud one time at your speed. I would love it if we're off unison, but it's all how you do. If we're on unison, that's okay too. I won't judge you. I'm gonna go real quick between a couple of short moments, and then I'll just start reading the beginning of that poem. And if you want to jump in, you can. Yeah. Just because you said photographs, and we're talking about photographs. So I'll jump like 3 short moments into that poem. To hum its dizziness like sugar and tea. A photo carries its own skeleton along death's emulsifying road. because every box and border dreaming of a sash thin enough to render scissors obsolete. Chris says that a photograph is not taken but made. What parts of us learn to construct what our naked eye can't see? Maybe this as well. If my feet are balancing on the lament of a railroad track or playing footsie naked, whether my hands are dirt-bound by my labor or echoes on another's skin missing their actual love, maybe not the eye that's open but the other, holding like a dragonfly's buzz to the part of the world that's dreaming. Today I grow small, enough to hear your body into the groove expand. The stars, the city lights who swallow them, they do not leave you but gleam, like oil spill and candle glut, like a forest burning. What is sharp and thin in me, I carry like you carry. The languages you couldn't give me, the strength you still save, the mischief I ask that you will wear again when you return to this place where all that has seen famine returns. If each day is orphan and goddess of lost things, a river as my lament also dies down to whisper, curved, hemmed like a dawn who knows death is the only tongue freed of incantations, and light flows from the ladle you still offer as a seed's journey to harvest time, reaching, I drink. Poem to burn, attend. And these are literal, by the way. I take them home, read them out loud, light them on fire, make them come true. Do that shit safely because this place is already burning. A border will only persist as bench to rest at on a stroll. Call it respite, serve tasty refreshments. At every station, cup to cup, a pouring back and forth. Those whose names traverse in the form of libations, welcome. Bereft of any detention center, bereft of separation, rivers walk back towards faith in us. Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for reading with me today.